Hello, YouTube! Welcome to another episode of Factorio here at the Fugitive Theater. My name is Tanis Fugit, and today we are continuing along with what we were doing last time, which is finally getting our mega base started with the sort of city block setup, which means that I am going to create these sort of blocks of areas that have very specific purposes each. This first one, its job is going to be to create advanced circuits. Right, so that's the idea. We're going to start by just sort of proving my point that this can be done effectively. We're going to have an input for all of the possible requirements that red circuits need. The red circuits will then be put back onto the train lines so that they can go elsewhere that red circuits may eventually be required. Okay. The eventual stated goal of all of this is to remove the bus, get the bus out of here, and what that means is that I'm going to sort of go item by item back down the bus that I have built here and start creating these things out here in the world so that they can be created in their little city block, sent to where they're needed, and created wholesale. So I'm not, I'm sort of doing a sort of a happy medium in between the sort of two extremes that I was considering for this block program, which is one extreme was that we would only ever one extreme is that we would only create like finished products. We wouldn't do any medium products in these sort of mall areas or these city block areas, right? Excuse me, my voice isn't quite where I want it to be today yet, but we're working on it. And the other extreme is that I would create every intermediate product, and then every intermediate product would be getting sent everywhere. I think I'm going to sort of do a happy medium in that, like, I'm not going to create electronic circuits in its own city block and send them around. I'm going to instead just create advanced circuits and go right from there. I know that there is a blue circuit that's higher than the red circuit, so I will eventually need, I will kind of be creating that sort of same chain where stuff created in one block needs to go to another block to be refined, and then needs to go to a third block to be, actually built into something, which is kind of what I'm trying to avoid, but I can't avoid all of it. So like, I'm not going to create iron sticks in a zone. I'm not going to create copper cable in a zone. I'm not going to create iron gear wheels in a zone. All those will be we'll ship in the raw iron and copper on site and turn them into their intermediate products to build into the higher products. And we'll do that all right here. Okay. So here's what we've got. So I've kind of figured out the numbers already for the circuits. So what I'm going to do is I want to have 12 facilities making advanced circuits, right? That means I'll be producing just out of this area 2 advanced circuits every second. That should be able to support quite a bit of industry. Will it be able to support everything? Absolutely not. But will it at least be able to support quite a bit? Oh yeah, for sure. So in order to do that, I've determined that I need 8 facilities making copper cables and 2 facilities making electronic circuits. That will give me all of the things that I need in order to make the advanced circuits. Whether I'm stating that as though it were fact, I did try and figure that out. It should be accurate. It should be accurate. I'm hoping it is, because if it's not, I'm going to look like an absolute fool. But so what am I? So I have 2. So my income for copper is right here, and I can put all of the copper into creating copper cables because neither of these need any other copper derived item. So all the raw copper can go into creating copper cables. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go assembly machine 2 here, and we're going to go, should I do 2 lines of 4 or should I just do 1 line of 8? I think just 1 line of 8 will be sufficient for our requirements here. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to go like, let's do it like here. Yeah, I got plenty of space here, so no need to worry about taking up too much space. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So again, so here's the thing. We go out 1, out 1. This comes in 1. This goes out 1. That way, these this is now one full. This is now one full belt instead of being like 2 half belts. This is now one full belt of copper. Will feed all of these. A facility making these requires it to put in 1 copper every half a second, plus whatever speed modules. A fast inserter does rotate fast enough to make that happen. But with higher speed, it might actually fall just a little short. We'll have to see whether it does or doesn't fall a little short. If so, we'll need 2 of these, but for the time being, we're just going to do 1. Okay, so we put in our fast inserters. Well, we're going to actually put in our fast inserters to get them out of there as well. Okay. And then we just start running these back up, I believe. Makes the most sense. Well, yeah, no, I think this makes the most sense. And we start going out this way. And then what we have here is... So do I like split these and make them full belts, or do I not? It might not be required to do like full belts of these. These might be fine as is. Okay. So these are all going to be copper, cable. Okay, so that's gonna, all the copper that comes in goes to be making copper cables, right? There's no need for raw copper in any way, shape, or form. The next step is making the electronic circuits. Now I've decided that I need 2 facilities making electronic circuits. So, and they need iron and these copper cables. So how are we gonna do that? Well, we'll probably, what I'm thinking is, because I also need, or no, I don't need iron. This is the only time I need iron. So all the iron can funnel into this work. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to create a new route here. Like so. And all of the iron is going to go here. So this is going to be... The red belt should be strong enough to supply all of this. So we're going to go just with this red belt. We're going to go 1, 2 facilities. And they're going to be, how often does this create? Every quarter. Okay, this is definitely going to need 2 inserters each. Each one of these is definitely going to need 2 different inserters. Let's put you there, actually. But you should be able to get away with only 1 out. Okay, let's go ahead and run cable for all these guys. Get everything connected up to the power grid here. Okay, you guys are going to be making green circuits. And with that, we should now be able to supply 12 facilities making advanced circuits, because every facility making advanced circuits needs 2 electronic circuits every 6 seconds, because it needs 1/3 of a circuit every second. Every facility making circuits produces 2 circuits every second. Right? So every 3 facilities making advanced circuits needs 1 circuit a second. Right? Every 3 requires 1 circuit every second, because it needs 1/3 of a circuit every second, so 3 of them making. So 12 needs 4 circuits every second. Every facility making electronic circuits puts out 2 circuits a second, so 2 facilities making circuits puts out 4 every second, which is the exact same number. Trust me, that makes sense. I know it doesn't necessarily sound like it does. Also, I apologize if you just heard me drink a little bit of my drink here. My throat is still giving me a little bit of trouble. At the start of these recording days, my throat always starts to give me trouble. Oh, by the way, science, because science is a thing this game has. By the way, we should be moving into some of the late game tech. I think we did, maybe off screen, I think I did a little bit of, things like refined flammables, better shooting speed, better shooting damage, stuff like that, just to try and keep up with some stuff. But I think we're going to try and move into some, I'm not really sure what I want to move into now as I continue to produce more of this stuff. I think I'm going to go with follower robot count 1, even though I'm not actually running any follower robots right now, just because. Okay. So anyway, we're outputting assembly machines, and now we are going to, I should now be able to produce 12 facilities making red circuits. So how is that going to work? Well, ideally, it's going to work like this, where I go something like, maybe if I start here and I go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I put this in, run it right up this way. I can then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I suppose, well, I ran this up and down. What if this wasn't up and down? What if, or we're going upward? What if it was going downward? Would that make sense? I mean, I guess it would, yeah. There you go. So now what this needs is it needs 4 copper cable, plastic bars, and electronic circuits. So copper cables should be... see, this is the problem, is that I actually need copper cables. Copper cables need to be split off from this. So this can't work like this. Okay. This setup doesn't quite work this way. So this is why I needed to think about this sort of thing. So the first thing that I need to do with my copper cables, once I've got them produced, is I actually need to split them. And then some of what I am producing is going to go... Well, actually, of that... This is going to need 3 every half second. It needs 6 seconds per production. So this needs 12 of these per second, whereas this needs almost none. I might actually do something really weird and do something like this. Which is only because these input belts are going to be half belts. So this is going to produce 4 half belts. Because this is the problem with doing just a single layer of production. Like a single line of production instead of breaking it down over 2 lines, is that I am only fulfilling half of this output bar, output belt. But I think this will be okay. So the lower of the 3 of the belts will be the one, because it's the inside track here. So it's the lower angle of the belt that's being filled. So if I go this and this, that will make this a full belt. And then if I do this, this will be, and then if I like combine them back together, that'll put 3/4 of the production going south and only 1/4 of the production going westward, which I think is what I want. I do, in fact, believe that that is what I want. But I kind of want this to be a full belt going forward, so I'm going to do something even weirder. We're going to drop this on instead, and again, it's the lower belt that's being filled up, so this one goes out, and this one comes down, and this one going out. So that's our 1/4, but it's a double belt going out. Okay, I think that makes sense. It is probably not the best way to do that. There's probably way more efficient ways to make something like that happen. But I do think that that is at least technically correct. Like, it will produce the result I'm looking for. So now I have... what will be a split belt of copper. So now if I go like this, and I go like... yeah, okay. Something like that. And put a underground belt here and feed the... oops, that was wrong. Something like that instead. There we go. And now all the iron flows here. The copper coils float here. And we go 1, 2, and it's still... I only lost like 1 bit of space. So it's actually almost identical to what we had going before. And then I go boom, 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 boom. Out and out. You go all the way down to there. All right, that should function as advertised. Now, so this is all the electronic circuits. This is some copper cable. The copper cables want to be their own. So this is going to be similar to how we do smelting, right? Where it's going to be like, boom, boom. I do this. This goes over. Do I have the space, actually? I do just barely. Right? Because I'm going to have one... well, actually, this is a little weird, right? Because I'm going to have one belt... that's... let me think here. Each facility needs to pull in 4 every 6 seconds. That's just a regular inserters can do that. So yeah, but it does need to pull in 3 things. So it's going to need one fully saturated belt of iron or copper cables, one belt that's half plastic bar, half electronic circuits. So if I say like this is one of those belts, and this is the other one of those belts, I can do this for both of these. So if I say that this is copper cables, this internal belt is copper cables. This is the copper cables that are going to be split there. Let me pull these up. So let's just put down a splitter as is. This is going to be spaghetti as hell, but I'm going to try this. I kind of think this is actually how this is. And this was the inside track. There we go. Okay, so now all the copper coils, the copper wire is getting where it's going. Now I just need these outer lines to be filled with my split material, which I think I can still do. If I go like that and that, and then I put a splitter here and here. And then I like ran... I'm gonna need a bunch of undergrounders for this, I think. Actually, it's gonna have to be kind of the other way around, huh? I need undergrounders for the other one, because with this, I can just go straight over. I'd eat up a little less space, and these ones can actually jump over that way. If I did like that and that, those are now connected. So now I just need to get plastic to here. So now that's that, and then I just need to get wire to here, or circuits to here, which this is going to be a little bit awkward. And I've got so much space, I don't know why I'm making this so spaghettified, but this does not need to in any way be this level of spaghetti. Can I make, do I have the resources to make? God, I'm short just a little bit, hold on. All right, I went back and picked up some resources, and now I am ready to go again. So let's finish up what we're doing here, which I know is awkward, is weird as hell, but I think this is correct. I think this is at least correct in the sense that, like, it will do what I expect it to do. It is not necessarily correct in the sense that, like, it is efficient and the best way to do any of this, but, like, I never promised that I would be efficient at anything I did in this game. In fact, I was quite specific in saying that I would not be that level of efficient and correct. So at this point, you guys are just gonna have to accept what I'm bringing to the table here. So, okay. Boy, this looks way more awkward than it needs to be. It's whatever. I will, in future, I will try and look up cool. I want to do it my way first, and then look up, like, the cool blueprints that other people use. There are some things I'm willing to, like I'm not going to sit down and calculate the solar power, like, percentages and stuff like that, so I will just use other people's blueprints for that and stuff like that. But there are some things that I want to do myself first, and then, like, if we find out that this city block is not producing enough red science or red circuits for what we need eventually, we need another block of this, well, then we'll set up another block of this, and I'll do it some other way, and I'll maybe look up how other people do it at that point. But yeah, for now, this is where we're at. So I'm going to make a bunch of long-handled inserters. Actually, like, possibly interested in making some, like, regular inserters, but for the time being, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think, well, we will use fast inserters, even though it is not necessary. Well, fast inserters in are necessary. But slow inserters out would be fine, but I will do fast inserters out. It's not going to affect much at the end of the day. Okay, that should be everything. Now, if I just tell these guys they're making red circuits and go ahead and get a train moving to pick up all these resources, then we should be good. So the next question becomes, how do I get a train to pick up these resources and send it over here? Part of that is very simple. But this is the point in the game where I now have to consider making sure that I have every needed resource on the train circuit. So this is oh, I actually made a mistake. It's been some days since I recorded this, and I thought I was just using this to set up for, but I know this is going to be for production modules. I completely forgot my own plan here. Oh my. Well, I mean, thankfully all this was necessary, but also at the same time, oops. Okay. Well, that changes things. Because you need 5 electronic circuits every 15 seconds, since you need a third of them every second. You produce 2 every second. So 1 more of you will actually be perfectly fine. This is actually fine, it's just a little bit awkward. How many of these do I need for 3 of these? 3 of these is going to need, so 1 of these needs 6 every second. So 3 of them needs 18 every second. On your own, you produce 4 a second. So in order to get up to 18 every second, I need 5. I already have 8. Hold on. Where is my math? I think my math is a little bit screwed up. I wonder if these will actually be enough to support all this. If not, I can put another one down here. It should be fine. I'm just a little annoyed at myself for having screwed this up, but this should still be fine. Oh, I have a train that's out of fuel, and it's probably all right. It is on a track. I knew I was going to end up with a train that's out of fuel at some point. I knew that was going to happen, so we'll take care of that in a second here. But let me just figure this out. So now I've got output of. So now 2 arms going in, 1 coming out. You're going to be making green. Okay. So now I was mistaken thinking that all I was trying to do here was make red, but the problem is that now I've like way over created because I was thinking I was just making advanced circuits. I've like completely messed myself up here. This overproduction is not the worst thing in the world, and if nothing else, I might be able to make a small depot here to like pick up excess red circuits. I don't know. It's weird. I've made weird things happen here, unfortunately. I do think the next step, though, before I actually finish this off, because I mean the next step is really, really, really easy. It's literally just put these 2 resources together and stick them into a set of assembly machines to make the production modules. So we'll do that at some point. But for right now, the main goal is get these resources to be delivered here. Now I have iron and copper on the network. This is where I was a second ago. Okay, so I'm going to break off from this and I'm going to go help this train, which I think right now it's still just going to be a band-aid. I'm just going to hand load it with coal. Because right now I don't have a means of getting coal delivery anywhere that this train is going. Because this train here, the one that's stuck, is the one that's delivering rail supplies to the rail factory, right? Actually, didn't I put... Hold on. That's not the one I thought was going to run out of fuel. Why are you running out of fuel? How are you running out of fuel? Because there is actually... Hold on. See, now I'm confused. This should not be the one that's running out of fuel. I'm just going to hand load you with fuel. And I'm going to have to just watch this because this doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. I think I understand what's happening here. Okay. Because the rail factory isn't using up the items. Okay, we need to put an and here. And let's say like 10 seconds of inactivity. Actually, let's say like 25 seconds of inactivity. This should allow it to stop because what's happening is that as soon as it's hitting this is also like really inefficient that it's just going for no good reason, right? Yeah, it should, Oh, right, but the problem is that when it is actually How about, okay, hold on. Let me switch you to manual for the time being. What if instead of cargo plus, if I have a weight condition for... Can I count your, like... coal being greater than, like, let's say 50? Will you count that? Like, can I... If I turn you on to automatic right now... Yeah, it won't count that. Okay. Unfortunately, yeah, I can't. I mean, I could do something tricky with the circuits. Where, like, only depart from here when Rail Factory says that it needs something. For now, I'm just going to hold you here. You're not going to do anything for the time being. So for the time being, you're just going to stay there. You're on manual now, so you're not actually going anywhere. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to actually do something with circuits. So next episode might be, or at least a near future episode might have something to do with circuits, because yeah, this is the train that I was expecting to run out, because this train doesn't actually have anything fueling it at all, and none of it stops because it only has 2 stops. It's got the sulfur pickup and sulfur drop off. Sulfur pickup is here, and it doesn't have any coal routed to it, so there's no way for this train to get reloaded. So this is the train I was actually expecting to see problems with, but okay, that's interesting. Okay, before we end this episode, it's starting to, this episode's starting to drag a little long. So before we get this one finished, what I want to do is twofold. First of all, this is, I want to make sure that the existing, I need to rename some of these things. This is the iron pickup. So once you get a high number of you go, then you drop off until you are empty. That's not really what I want. This might have to be a circuit thing as well. I might have to learn circuits in this game. So right now it's dropping off iron at the bus until it empties, which right now it's not emptying. So the next thing I want it to do is I want it to go to production module and drop off iron so I'm going to go ahead and set this to manual. I'm going to add a station. I'm going to go to production modules, and we're just going to wait there for, let's say, like a minute. However much it can offload in a minute is fine. Or I would say or circuit condition, but again, I have to set a circuit condition. I have to set circuitry and figure out how that works. I'd say or empty cargo. Yeah. Okay. So let's go automatic on that. Let's go to your next stage here. So unfortunately, this route's a little bit awkward, and you have to take a really circuitous path to get around to this. Ideally, there would be like, this will be closed off in a block, so like you won't have to go up and around, you just go down this block and over so you can get to that one. And now there's iron being delivered. So now I need to come down here to make sure that the iron is being delivered properly, because it should only go into the one box. Because the filter inserter should only the one filter inserter should be moving it. And that does indeed seem to be the case. And yeah, and I've already set the limits on these things so that they're not going to completely drain my economy of all of its iron. So now 60 seconds should pass here. Oh, you're almost empty, actually. That green bar was moving in the opposite direction than I thought it was. This might actually empty. Well, unless this fills. No, it should actually empty. Although it might not do it in time. It's going to be real close, though. Yeah, okay, it actually emptied. So now the next step is it's going to go pick up more iron, and then it's going to go back to where it started. Okay, so iron routed. Iron is on the list. That's figured out. Next thing we need to do is copper, which I don't even think I have anything moving copper right now. So, which I don't, because I don't even have the copper picked up yet. Okay, so major expansion part 3 is the next thing we're going to do. So next episode, couple things that we're going to be looking at. Circuits. We're getting to the point where in order just to make efficient things happen, I want my trains hanging out at the pickup spots until they're actually needed at certain drop-off areas. And we are only going to know that they're needed at certain drop-off areas because of the circuit network. So I'm going to learn about the circuit network. I'm going to figure out how all that's supposed to work. And I'm going to, you know, really figure out like complicated routing for these trains. That's step 1. Step 2 is going to be expanding out onto these copper ore patches. So, and then setting up copper smelting and then pick up at this station. So as that trains route from this station out into the world. I might actually change up. I might set up because right now I've got like a stacker set up for this, but I do not currently have a stacker. Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm looking at it in the wrong way. That's only outgoing. So the stacker is actually set up for both iron and copper. Well, if anything, I can expand the stacker, right? If I feel like I absolutely need to, I can make this like a 6 or 7 car stacker. I guess if I really, really feel like I need to. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Okay, so I will, so that'll be the next thing. Expand onto these, well, at least this one first. We can move on to this one if we have to later. Expand onto this guy here, set it up so that it's being smelted, and do that. And I might even do some of that off screen to set up for next episode. And then next episode is going to be all about circuits. All right, guys, thank you very much. My name is Tanis Fugit. Thank you for stopping by the Fugitive Theater. If you like what I do here, you know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that YouTube stuff that you know by now that I really hate having to say, but it really does help. So thank you guys. Bye-bye.